Insane Mike back again with my 100 favorite movies of all time. We're coming down to the last two videos in this series, talking about my favorite 100 favorite films ever. And we're going to go straight into it. Um, First up, Peter Jackson is back on the list. And so I told you before, I love Peter Jackson, but I mostly love his earlier stuff. That's the stuff that ends up on this list. We have Bad Taste on there before, and so now we have like the ultimate gore film. Um, um, what I refer to as splat stick. We're combining gore and comedy, and that is the over-the-top zombie fest from 1992, Dead Alive, or as it was originally called in New Zealand, Brain Dead. But around the time it came out, there was another film that came out in the States called Brain Dead, so they changed it to Dead Alive. Um, it's too bad that it lost the war for that title, because it's far superior than the other Brain Dead movie. But then you also have nowadays there's like two or three films called Brain Dead. There's one made a few years back by Kevin Tenney, which is a really cool zombie film that I really like a lot as well. That's got Gabe Bartolos zombie and gore effects in it. But Dead Alive, holy crap! It's just wall to wall gore. That final fight at the end where he's got the lawnmower and he's just mowing through a horde of zombies is just amazing. So. Moving on, I talked about how I love bad movies. We had Plan 9 from Outer Space show up on the list. This is a mixture of my love for bad movies and my obsession with movies made in the Philippines. It's 1989's Lady Terminator. I could thank my good buddy Justin for turning me on to this film, because as soon as he showed it to me, I had to get it. I bought it right away, and I've watched it 1,000 times since then. This movie is insane. It's awesome. It's obviously a Terminator ripoff, but there's so much more going on. She's not like a robot from the future sent to the past. No, she's like possessed by a sea witch, but there's still crazy scenes like that are just rip off from the Terminator, like taking out the eyeball in the hotel room and that kind of shit. So it's a bonkers movie. It is exploitation at its best. Lady Terminator is a blast. Another Kevin Smith movie shows up on the list. I think I only ended up with Chasing Amy as being the only one that still is within the top 100 from the View Askew-averse. But I really like a lot of his movies that he made after those. And the first one was it the first one he made after that, or was it Cop Out? It doesn't matter. This one, Zack and Miri Make a Porno. I love this movie a lot. Seth Rogen is awesome. Seth Rogen teaming up with Kevin Smith. That's just a match made in heaven. And again, this feels like semi-autobiographical. It's almost as if this is the making of Clerks, but change it to a porno instead, because it just really feels like this movie's talking a lot about Kevin Smith's frustrations and loves of his film career through this movie. And it's really funny, and also, again, even though it's a porno, it's a movie about making a movie, so you know how I feel about that. Next! Cult classic. We're finally getting into a few of the iconic horror films. And if you're saying, holy shit, Mike, how come, such and such isn't on the list? Well, guess what? Here we go. Here's one of them, 1974, the Tobe Hooper classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What can be said about this movie other than its insanity on film? No other movie puts you in the seat right at the dinner table right next to Sally. No other film can do that like this film right here. So I'm also a huge fan of part two. Huge fan of part two. That almost made the top 100, and it almost maybe squeaked out the original. That's how much I love part two. But from a pure filmmaking standpoint, this movie's amazing. So, and the movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so amazing. It's referenced a lot in the next movie that's on this list, and that's 1987's Summer School. I was Chainsaw Dave in high school. As a matter of fact, in one of my science classes, I had with my best friend, who is the other half of Chainsaw Dave. So everybody in that class, and in that class only, mind you, would call us Chainsaw Dave, and we would recite dialogue right in the middle of class, in that science class. What was cool is we had a teacher that was all for it as well. You know, it's not like we got in trouble or we purposely disrupted the class. Like, the teacher egged it on. So, Summer School. This one's directed by Carl Reiner, who I also love, and he did a lot. I love his stuff that he did with Steve Martin back in the day. Always been a huge Steve Martin fan, and I'm bummed that movies like The Jerk or The Lonely Guy, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, that those movies didn't, or Man with Two Brains. Oh my God, Man with Two Brains. Oh, it's a bummer that none of those movies made it on the list, because again, it's Carl Reiner and Steve Martin, perfect combination. But I just love Summer School that much more. So Carl Reiner represent the top 100. Not even a Steve Martin movie. It's Summer School. Herschel Gordon Lewis shows up back on the top 100 with, I said 2000 Maniacs is probably his best made of his gore films, but this one is the most, and to me is the most outrageous one. Well, that's not true. I wouldn't say the most outrageous one. That would be Gore Girls. But this one is a crazy romp as well, and that's The Wizard of Gore. I love the creativity behind, well, all of his gore flicks. You know, one's about a magician who does tricks on stage, and then those tricks come to life after the show's over, where he'll saw a girl in half, and then she falls apart after the show is over, or you know, a girl put through a meat press, and she's fine after the trick, but then her guts fall out after the trick is over. So, or after the show's over. So, just love his crazy concepts that he comes up with, like the gruesome twosome. It's the old lady who runs a wig shop, and she has her son scalp women to get the wigs for the wig shop. You know, just creative concepts. Not always the best execution, but I love them all the same. Crazy concepts. So, speaking of classics, we've had The Thing show up on the top 100. In this video alone, we had, I already forgot. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And now another John Carpenter film shows back up, but the John Carpenter film, and that is the original Halloween. There are times where I think I like part 2 even better than part 1. I know that's kind of controversial, but I know I've watched part 2 many more times than part 1, and both of them are repeat viewings every Halloween season. This is another great Anchor Bay classic. I love this one because it's got the television version. Back in the day, there was, instead of deleted scenes being left on the cutting room floor, you know, a lot of these movies had to be edited in different ways for the content, and B, for the running time when it came time to show it on television. So there were scenes that they put back into the television version that you didn't get in the theatrical version, for pure length, for the running time, for it to be shown on television based on other stuff that had been cut out or whatever. So it's cool that this set has that on there, and it's another numbered set by Anchor Bay, but it doesn't tell me how many are in the set, but this one is number 1522. Last one in this video. I know in the daily, when I talked about Deadly Spawn, that it's one of my favorite monster designs of all time. And this is also right up there as one of my all-time favorite monster designs of all time. It is also my favorite Universal monster of all time. We're talking 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon, directed by Jack Arnold. I am obsessed with the creature. The Gill Man in this was so revolutionary. The creature design in this and the execution of the creature design. I just realized that my Blu-ray has both 3D and 2D version. Ooh, I have to look into that more. But you have to have those stupid 3D TVs. Whatever, doesn't matter. Still, movie's awesome. And I love the whole Creature franchise. It's a bummer that they only made 3 films in the Creature franchise. But that's it for this video. We only have one video left, gang. One more video to cover my top 100 favorite movies of all time. Thanks for sticking with me on this. Once we're finally through this, I'll do some other videos. I know I've had requests to do more makeup effects videos, and I plan on doing that. And there's other things I want to do too, like doing reviews of commentary tracks. Stuff I don't get to do too often on the podcast. And then also show you more of my horror collection that I know some of the other Killer Podcast guys have done in their videos as well. So I'll get to more of that stuff. But thanks for sticking with me through this top 100. One more to go. We are down to the last, I think, like 6 or 7 movies. And then we're finally done with this series. So we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for doing the Patreon. I really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.